a quick presentation here about the wonders and incredible benefits of hemp seeds and why they are so valuable. Everything that I do is evidence-based, meaning that it comes from valid research. None of this is made up by me. So we're talking tonight about two major important points, which are going to be the nutritional value, and then how does that nutritional value translate into health benefits? First of all, the nutritional value shows us that hemp is a superfood. Hemp seeds are a superfood. Whole hemp seeds, these are non-whole, so we have the outer coating on them, which is what you had that beautiful picture of the fish there. Hemp seeds are 25 to 35% oil. And we're going to touch a little bit more on this oil itself, but that's a whopping amount of oil for a little tiny seed. They also are 20 to 25% protein, 20 to 30% carbohydrates, and they're composed of 10 to 15% insoluble fiber, which is good for our digestion, and I'll get into that as well. And we also have great vitamins and minerals, such as phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, iron, and zinc. And like you said, I'm going to touch on the zinc specifically in this time of craziness that we are here. When we talk about whole hemp seeds, you can see that we go up significantly in oil. We go up to 46.7%. And then again, we're at the high end of the protein scale with 35.9% protein. So a lot of the hemp seeds hearts are just chock full of these great oils and another wonderful avenue for protein, especially if you're vegan. Dehulling the hemp seeds seems to remove a lot of the fiber content. So if you're looking for that fiber benefit, you want to eat the whole hemp seed. Now, I want to touch here about one specific fatty acid, which is called Gamma-linolenic Acid, which is a significant amount found in hemp seed. You can see, and Joe, this comes from one of your blog articles. This was a great little graphic here that showed the different compositions between the different vegetable sources, the different plant sources for our omega fatty acids. And you can see here that hemp at the top, that green circle there, has the highest amount of what we call this gamma-linolenic acid. And why is this so important? The gamma-linolenic acid is a precursor to our prostaglandins. And prostaglandins are substances in our bodies, and they have a very specific function. They help reduce inflammation and they regulate body temperature, but they also support a lot of our body's homeostatic functions, the balancing functions. And they're also useful for protecting against nerve damage and treating skin diseases, such as eczema. So with this high amount of gamma-linolenic acid in just this little hemp seed, you're already starting to maybe see the benefits of having this added to your diet because of this inflammatory suppression.
Quick question, Denise, before we jump into zinc. A lot of people, I think, sometimes get confused when you say it helps with the skin. It's a different application, or is it also helping the skin when you eat it, or only when you apply it externally?
It can do both, but when we're talking about the hemp seed itself, the eating them is going to support good skin health, and that's going to be something I touch on a little bit more in detail toward the end of the talk.
Okay.
All right, let's get into zinc. As you mentioned, or as the buzz right now, no pun intended, is all about these treatments, these preventative and effective treatments for our current COVID-19 pandemic. And you may have heard this combination of hydrochloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc Okay, well, what's so great about zinc? Zinc is an essential mineral, and when we talk about essential components of either oils or minerals, they're essential because we must get them from our diet. We do not make these particular products. We do not make these substances. So zinc is an essential mineral that helps to keep our immune system strong. It also heals wounds, and it supports our growth of our body tissues. And hemp seeds, as you see here, are super high in zinc. This current pandemic has demonstrated that the use of zinc as part of a treatment regimen helps to prevent respiratory inflammation, and it also protects the delicate respiratory tissues within the lungs. Our lung tissues are very susceptible to a lot of insults, and when we have a lot of inflammation there, they become very vulnerable to anything entering them, including pathogens. So the zinc would help prevent the pathogens from entering into our respiratory system. And you can see here that of all of the top 10 foods, highest in zinc, hemp seeds, for being so little, they have 26% of our daily recommended value for zinc, which is 3 milligrams. So not a whole lot per ounce. So really just a handful of these little superfood seeds added to your salads or your shakes, or like you have on that beautiful picture of the salmon encrusted on top of the salmon, it's really going to help you meet this recommendation to get this 26%. And then the zinc offers all of these wonderful bodily protections and bodily supports. So that's why you're hearing a lot about zinc and what it does right now.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if you look at all those options, it's one of your best vegan options as well. And you can easily add it to a bowl of lentils or oatmeal to eat even more, double down on it.
Absolutely. And your yogurt there. And look, the only thing higher in zinc in relation to a plant food is going to be your tofu, and it's got to be the firm, chunky tofu coming from our soybean. The rest is either lower as a plant source, or the only time you get a higher value of zinc is if you're actually eating a meat product.
So do you know where the zinc is in the seed itself? I mean, do hulled seeds have just as much zinc as the seeds with shells on them?
Yeah, your hulled seeds are still going to have the zinc in them. You're still going to have high values of zinc. When we dehull the hemp seed, we usually just lose a lot of the fiber, because that's what the hemp seed is. It's a casing. The outer hull is just a casing, and it really does have its benefits, but a lot of it is the insoluble fiber that we're not going to be able to digest. Kind of like corn, right? You have the insoluble kernel, and then the meat of the corn sits inside of it, and that's where you'll get your carbohydrates and your sugars in your corn.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to know, because the hulled seeds, people just love to throw those in their shakes, and that they're still getting the benefits doing that. That's awesome.
Yep, absolutely delicious. All right, let's talk about the hemp seed oil. Hemp seed oil is, of course, pressed from the hemp seeds themselves, and the hemp seed oil is rich in these wonderful polyunsaturated fats. These are the linoleic and the alpha linoleic acids. These are known as our W6s or our omega-6s. It's a W in Latin, and then our omega-3 acids. And this is what makes another reason why hemp and hemp seed oil, it can be considered a superfood, because our diets should have combination ratios of the omega-3s to omega-6. We want more omega-3s and omega-6s in our diet as part of our nutrition, and a combination of either 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratios. And when we use these linoleic acids in these ratios, we have a optimal health profile because of the number of things that these acids do for us. For instance, studies have found significant differences in body weight. This seems to help when you have a balanced 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. It seems that you are you're better able to sustain a healthy body weight. And you may even start to lose weight because of the way that these polyunsaturated fats work in the body. And I'll get into that in just a few minutes when we talk about what these polyunsaturated fats do in our diet.
Okay. Just the optimal ratio, it's 4-to-1. Is that right?
2-to-1 to 3-to-1. Yes. It can go as high, the higher you can get your 3s to 6s. So 2, more, you're doubling your 3s, or you're tripling or even quadrupling your 3s in relation to your 6s, the better you are. But the optimal is either 2 or 3-to-1 to make sure that you have a balanced polyunsaturated fat profile.
And I don't know if you're going to touch on it, but most people who eat fried foods and stuff get way more, one type of omega than the other type, and that unbalance is not good for you, right?
That's right, and yep, I'm going to go over that in just a few minutes.
All right, awesome.
All right, let's look at fish oil versus hemp seed. So a lot of people try to get these polyunsaturated fats like the omega-3s, which they are found in fish oil. And for instance, krill oil is a great source of omega-3s. But a lot of people will take one of those large fish oil pills thinking that it's a great way to get the omega-3s to help that balance. And it is, but if you consider the contrast between the fish oil versus the hemp seed and trying to reach that balanced polyunsaturated ratio, you can see that hemp seed themselves have a much better nutritional value. First of all, fish oil comes from animals. And it has a fishy taste. Oh my goodness. And it gives you that bad breath and that body odor. And the omega-3s and 6s that you're getting from a fish oil pill are really not absorbed well in the body. And we're never quite sure exactly where our fish oil is sourced from. It could be contaminated by ocean pollutants, as we see more and more concerns related to how fish is farmed and captured and processed. Now, if you look at the hemp seed benefits, first of all, it's made from sustainable plants. Hemp grows like a weed. It is a weed, hence it's weed. So, every 6 weeks, you'll have a new crop of hemp seeds. And one hemp plant, I'm sure you know this, Joe, one hemp plant is going to give you thousands and thousands of seeds, depending on how big that plant is. It could be cold pressed.
Even the birds love it. Let me tell you, you got to sometimes put a net around these fields because, you might lose all those seeds.
That's right. Birds love it too. So you can, it's not processed. It doesn't have to go through the process. Think of what, I don't mean to gross you out, but think of what if you're taking a fish oil pill or a capsule, what does that processing look like for it to get from the fish into that little capsule? It's probably not a very pretty sight. Versus a hemp seed, which is just naturally compressed, cold pressed, and it's raw. So you're getting the direct, no additives, no processing other than the fact that it's been pressed and squeezed just like a lemon or an orange, and then filtered and then put in and then refined and put into a bottle. You don't have that aftertaste, so no bad breath or no bad body odor. It's organic, free from pesticides, because by law, all hemp farms, have to be tested. Their products have to be tested, and then sustainable, eco-friendly. And the W3s, the omega-3s and omega-6s are easily absorbed through this particular modality. And when we look at CBD oil,
and the capsules, real quick, the fish oil capsules, the gelatin, whatever they make the capsules out of, mean, you're also ingesting that. Are they good for you, or is that just, it doesn't have much effect?
It really doesn't have much effect. Gelatin is, we get it in so many other different ways. It doesn't have too much of an effect. But it's just, if you've seen the size of the fish oil capsules, in order to get the desired dose, to get that ratio of 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, these capsules can be huge. I know that when I work with older patients, they will sometimes complain about it. If it's a pill, we can always cut it in half. But with a capsule, it's a very sturdy capsule, meaning the gelatin is very rigid. You can't cut those in half. Sometimes, if I was to help a patient take a fish oil capsule, it might be that I'd have to take a needle and puncture it and then squeeze out the contents, which is not very pleasant, but it's sometimes for our patients who have a hard time swallowing, it's their only option.
Just a teaspoon of hemp oil, way easier. I think we can agree about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So a better way to get your omega-3s and your omega-6 ratio. When we look at CBD oil versus hemp seed oil. So CBD oil does come from a hemp plant. And when processors are using the hemp plant to extract CBD oil, they're usually using everything. So they're using the leaves, stalks, the buds, and the flower. And so when we extract this oil that comes from all of these elements in the hemp plant, it is usually low in THC. And THC is the psychoimpairing compound found in cannabis. But by law, under the Farm Bill, the Agricultural Act, it all has to be less than 0.3% THC. So if your hemp fields are testing higher than that, sorry, Mr. Hemp Farmer, you're going to have to get rid of your hemp grow because it all has to be less than that. But the nice thing
we're fighting for that 1% threshold. So if you hear about a bill in your state, listener, call your politician and fight for that 1%, because it is not fun seeing your field get burned to the ground when you put all that hard work. And growing hemp is not a cheap endeavor.
No, it's not. No, and really, it's such a ridiculous amount, arbitrary amount. I mean, why 0.3%? We could debate this all night long, because there is really not, when you're talking THC to the point where you get psychoimpairment activities, the stone or the high that's related to THC, you're talking up into the 10 to 15 and 20%. So you're not at 1%. You're not even touching on that.
We still got a long way to go. The fight's not over, but yeah, hey, continue.
We do. All right. The best thing about hemp is, while it's low in THC, it is still rich in cannabidiol. And if you haven't been paying attention, even top athletes, I read today where an up-and-coming pro golfer is now hawking the benefits of CBD in his own product line. So we've got pro athletes that are using it and promoting it, and cannabidiol is all of that and a bag of chips, because it really does have a lot of the homeostatic, the balancing, the body balancing components that are necessary. And it also contains, the hemp products also contain these additional cannabinoids, such as cannabinol, CBN, cannabigerol, which is CBG, and cannabichromine, CBC. And each one of these cannabinoids, and all of these cannabinoids actually, have their own specific functions. For instance, cannabinol, CBN, is known for its sedative properties. So it's a great way to help you sleep naturally. CBG, cannabigerol, is known for its antibacterial and antifungal properties. And in fact, CBG has been found to be the only substance that will treat and prevent MRSA, and that's methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus.
Wow.
So these other cannabinoids are very beneficial in CBD and in the hemp plant. And we know that CBD oil is now being touted for its medical purposes, which is why, you know, I'm the head of my Hemp Haven Chesapeake now. And people are coming to me for pain, for anxiety, for, you know, all different types of things. And so we're seeing this immense growth in CBD.
Although the testimonials are just, you know, speak for themselves, you can't by law make a claim, right? So what are you telling these folks? You know, are you just nodding your head and allowing people just to tell you all these great things and just saying, yep.
Well, no. What I say is I point to the immense. I have volumes and volumes of research. All right, so I'm not making any medical claims that product X is going to do this for you. I say that the research has shown, and I have the research there that says cannabidiol does this, and this is backed by science. So I'm not making that claim. I'm pointing them to the research that's making the claim. You know, I'm not telling them that this product will do this for you. I'm making a recommendation that according to research, this product will do this.
And, you know, when I was doing research, you know, I found that our own National Institute of Health was funding research when this was all illegal, mind you, in Israel. Did you hear about that?
Yes, absolutely. There are hundreds of studies that have been funded by our government across the United States and in other countries that are investigating the use of not only cannabidiol, CBD, but also medical marijuana, you know, medical cannabis as well. There are numerous patents in the pipeline from the big pharmaceutical companies for their own proprietary blends of medical cannabis and CBD oils. And so it's just a matter of time before I think we're starting to see this in mainstream medicine as these companies who have spent probably millions of dollars to do the research and come up with their own brand of CBD oil and market it for one way or another, just like they marketed Marinol since the mid-1970s as the synthetic tetrahydrocannabinol, the synthetic, the pretend pharmaceutical grade THC. So it's illegal if you get it from a plant, but if you get it from the pharmaceutical company that has the patent on Marinol, the synthetic THC, that's okay to administer.
So many things that still don't make sense. But when folks hear the big farmers getting into this, are they pushing out the little guys? Do you think the industry is still going to be strong for those local farmers?
I do, because I have the analogy of they've let the toothpaste out of the tube and it's not going back in, because especially, you know, in Virginia, you know, through the Virginia Hemp Coalition, think of all of the hemp farmers that are already well ahead of the curve, you know, doing things like you're doing with Gourmet Hemp Foods. They're not going to back down. They're not going to go away quietly, and the industry is going to bear out as, those that are already in the forefront have a good lead on what they're doing, and they're not going to be intimidated by the pharmaceutical companies.
That sounds like a happy ending to me, but let's keep our fingers crossed. But if you want to, I think we covered the left side of the column. We move on to the right side.
Yeah, sure. All right. So hemp seeds obviously are extracted only from hemp seeds, right? Hemp seed oil is only extracted from hemp seeds. And what people don't understand, and this is very important, because if you go onto Amazon and you type in, just as an FYI, if you type in CBD oil or CBD, you're not going to be finding any CBD on Amazon. They do not sell it. They will steer you to hemp seed oil or hemp oil. And this is no way, shape, or form has any relationship to CBD oil, because in hemp seed oil, the only thing that you have there is the oil. So remember that slide I had back a couple slides ago that showed it has those great omega-3 and omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, but you're not going to have any tetrahydrocannabinol, you're not going to have any THC, and more importantly, you're not going to have any CBD. So no CBD at all. Although it is rich in those omega-3s and omega-6s, and we love it because it can be used as a cooking agent. I use it in lieu of any other vegetable oil, even olive oil. And as you said, you can use it as a moisturizing topical, so you can rub it on places in your skin, and you can also use it as a daily health supplement. And look at how they spell supplement. Isn't that wonderful?
I wasn't going to say anything. So when you say use primary cooking, I've heard that hemp seed oil is not the greatest as a frying oil because it oxidizes and other reasons.
And it will, kind of have a burnt taste. Yeah. So you don't want to use it for frying, but I use it in my marinades. And I use it as a spritzer, like I have an air fryer. So while I won't fry with it in a pan, I still use it. I spritz it in my air fryer and use that air circulation. That's the basis of the air fryer. I'll use that to help fry the foods. But it's great in salads. It's great as a marinade, and it's great to kind of just use in a very light manner, but you don't want to fry it with it.
All right, making me hungry.
I know, me too. All right, let's talk another reason why these linoleic acids, these omega-6s, are very important. If you aren't aware, our body is teeming with weed receptors. These are our endocannabinoid receptors. Our cannabinoid receptors are found in every single organ of the mammalian body. And so that's why these CBD products and hemp products are good for not only humans, but for, animals too. I've had customers in my store come to get products for their dog, their cat. I've even had somebody come in and ask about some CBD for their ferret. And then he came back and said it worked like a charm. So your body has these endocannabinoid receptors, these cannabinoid receptors in every major organ. And so what you're doing here when you're using this linoleic acid, these omega-6s from the hemp seed and the hemp seed oil, you are actually helping your body create its own endocannabinoids to interact with your endocannabinoid system. So you can see up here at the top of this graphic on the right that these omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids are going to be converted into arachidonic acid. And arachidonic acid is a foundational molecule, a foundational compound for several things. I mentioned prostaglandins before. Leukotrienes are another inflammatory product, and lipoxins are also responsible for inflammation. But where I'm focused here on this slide is on the endocannabinoids. We have two. We have our body has our own cannabis, and these are our endocannabinoids, our 2-arachidionyl glycerol, 2-AG, and our arachidionyl ethanolamine, or it's also called AEA or anandamide. And these endocannabinoids are responsible for maintaining the balance between health and wellness and illness and disease in our bodies. So that's why hemp seed and hemp seed oils are so important, because they allow our body to create its own endocannabinoids. So without enough of these linoleic acids, we're not going to be able to support our endocannabinoid health.
So Denise, this is news to me, because I always thought you needed a pretty expensive CBD supplement to nourish your endocannabinoid system. But what you're telling me is this the same thing as GLA, right? Yeah. Or
well, the gamma-linolenic acid is more related to the prostaglandins, but yes, but the omega-6s are the precursor to arachidonic acid. So it's a different cascade. It's a different homeostatic cascade, but we use the arachidonic acids to create not only the prostaglandins, but the endocannabinoids. So the GLAs are not going to create our endocannabinoids, but they for sure, the linoleic acids will.
Wow. Well, so I didn't know that hemp seed oil or just hemp seeds in general. Is it just hemp seed oil? Or is it more potent effect with hemp seed oil than hemp seeds? Or do they both, help nourish your endocannabinoid system?
They'll both help nourish your endocannabinoid system because they both contain these great polyunsaturated fatty acids.
So this is my next blog article.
There you go. I sent you off down. We call that the rabbit hole. You keep going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole because there's so much to explore related to the endocannabinoid system and the hemp and cannabis plants. I mean, it's just profound the amount of, number one, the research that has been done already, but number two, the amount of research that we still have before us. There are over 400 compounds in hemp and cannabis, and we only know a tiny fraction of what those compounds are, and more importantly, what those compounds do. And so as more discoveries come out, we are going to see more immense changes and abilities to apply the knowledge. It's going to be an incredible time. It's an incredible time to be a cannabis nurse, I'll tell you that. All right, here's this cool little graphic about our unhealthy Western diets featuring the good and bad and ugly polyunsaturated fatty acids. So up at the top there, you can see that in a balanced omega-6 to omega-3 diet, we have, on both sides, we have a nice even blue line, a nice even blue bar. And remember, I said those omega-6 fatty acids, the linoleic acids, they're going to create our endocannabinoids, the anandamide and the 2-AG. And then those are, of course, going to stimulate, in this case, our cannabinoid 1 receptors, CB1 receptors. And this balance between the two types of fatty acids gives us a healthy body mass. Unfortunately, in our American and Western diets, we have an imbalanced polyunsaturated fatty acid diet where our omega-6s overshadow our omega-3s. And that's because we eat too much, French fries and too many cheeseburgers, and our serving sizes are significantly just obscene at some points. You go to the buffets, all you can eat buffets, and it's just tray after tray of unhealthy food. So in our Western diet, we can have a ratio of 6s to 3s anywhere between 10 to 1 all the way up to 50 to 1. And you can see that this graphic under the B side of this, that we have this big fat blue bar, this big fat blue arrow of the omega-6 fatty acids, and then the small omega-3 fatty acids. So now we're talking about a very unbalanced proportion. And now we have created too many endocannabinoids. One of my favorite mottos and mantras to myself is too much of a good thing is a bad thing. You can have too much of anything, too much water, too much oxygen, too much omega-6 fatty acids. And when we make too many endocannabinoids, that disrupts the balance between our body's need to use the endocannabinoids and the amount of receptors. So we increase the amount of cannabinoid receptors, and then that leads to a condition known as obesity. And so that's why this balance is so significant. Once we have this over imbalance of omega-6s to omega-3s, we increase our risk for all of these diseases, such as coronary artery disease, hypertension, diabetes, arthritis and osteoporosis, the inflammatory and autoimmune diseases, and cancer. And so an ideal diet, we should be consuming approximately 15 to 20% of our diet should be fats. And at least 1/3 of those fats should come from this ratio of 3 to 1. So what does that mean? Well, for a healthy, let's just say for a healthy man like yourself there, Joe, you're looking for about a 2,500 calorie per day diet. So that means your intake of the omega-3s and omega-6s, your omega-3s should be about 6 to 7 grams per day, and your omega-6s should be about 9 to 18 grams a day. And this can easily be accomplished through either the handful, as little as 3 tablespoons of either hemp seed oil or hemp seeds. And so that's why this superfood is so important for preventing these types of disorders as the body changes its composition of endocannabinoids.
So one thing you touched on was just, we overeat too much, and that's, obvious just seeing the portions we get at restaurants. But the fiber in hemp seeds, that fills you up, right? And that, that kind of subdues
exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm going to get into that, and you must be prescient because, that's what I'm getting into next.
Okay? I did not see your slide before this. I think that shows. I'm
right, so hemp seeds. So now I'm going to talk, and now I'm going to shift focus from the fats. And remember in the very beginning slide, I talked about how hemp seeds have this immense amount of protein. There can be up to 20 to 25% of the hemp seed is protein. And you can see in this particular graph here how hemp seed stacks up against many other vegetable products. And hemp seed protein is well known for its excellent digestibility and its desired composition of all of these amino acids, which are proteins. And the only other legume or vegetable that is higher than hemp seed as a source of protein is soybean. And you can see that soybean right next to it has 32% protein. And hemp seeds also contain all 9 of the essential amino acids. And going back again, that you can see here that the asterisks on the left naming the different amino acids, if it's an essential amino acid, it means that your body doesn't make this. We have to get our essential amino acids from our diet sources. One of the incredible benefits of hemp seeds are their high arginine content. You can see in this graph that out of all of these comparables, hemp seed has the largest amount of arginine in it. And why is arginine so important? It's the amino acid that helps us build our body's protein. But more significantly, this amino acid acts as a vasodilator, meaning that it opens and dilates our blood vessels. And the arginine, you can get it at the GNC, right, at any nutritional store. But in hemp, you don't need to eat a whole lot of it to get the benefits of the vasodilation to help treat, say, cardiovascular conditions or erectile dysfunction. So that's another reason why when individuals are taking blood pressure medicine, it's important to know if you start taking blood pressure medicine and then you decide to incorporate hemp or hemp seed oil into your diet, you need to kind of start watching your blood pressure because it might start going down even further the more that you ingest hemp seed.
That's incredible.
The other compound I want to point out in here is this another high amount, so it's only less higher than soybean, is the glutamic acid. And the glutamic acid is, again, another protein builder. as it helps our body create the proteins that we need, but it also is you see that both arginine and glutamic acid are non-essential, meaning that our bodies can make it. And what's important about glutamic acid is that it is the most abundant excitatory neurotransmitter in the body. And we typically can get glutamic acid through a food product known as Accent meat tenderizer. It's glutamate. And so when you're using this, it is an excitatory neurotransmitter. And so it's actually a very useful transmitter as it works in the nervous system to help our body maintain all of its excitatory functions. So hemp seed oil and hemp seeds are so good.
So when you say excitatory, is this going to help athletes respond faster? Is it, helping the adrenaline gland? What in pragmatic terms, what does that mean?
It helps the body maintain the needs to do things, like you said, like if you have a sports person, it's going to help them, it's going to help their muscles be more efficient. It's going to help your digestion be more efficient. It's going to, so anything that you can think of that your body needs an excitatory transmitter to do, it's going to run more smoothly through a natural substance like hemp rather than getting it from, say, your Accent meat tenderizer. It's just a great way to enhance your body's ability to balance the excitatory neurotransmitters within the system, and it will be it's an on-demand type thing. So it's there when the body needs it.
Wow, I know that.
Okay. All right. So let's get into some of the health benefits for what we just talked about. The cardiovascular effects are one of the most major benefits related to the fact that, we just talked about how arginine has that vasodilating effect. We also have the hemp seeds also have the ability to inhibit both what we call ACE and renin. So ACE stands for angiotensin converting enzyme. And without getting into too much of the biology and physiology, what angiotensin does is a powerful natural blood vessel constrictor. So when angiotensin is released in the body, it causes the blood vessels to constrict. And so naturally, the blood pressure goes up. Many individuals who have high blood pressure are taking ACE inhibitors synthetically. So if we inhibit the ability to create this angiotensin, we prevent the body from causing the blood vessels to constrict. Hemp seeds do the same thing as ACE inhibitors without the need for synthetic drugs. Renin is another substance released in the body, and it's released in the kidneys that also increases blood pressure when the kidney senses a drop in volume. So when we inhibit renin, we stop the body's response to raise blood pressure. So hemp seeds, through the vasodilation, through the inhibition of ACE and renin, they will cause your blood pressure to go lower. And this is one of the major benefits of using hemp seeds and hemp seed oil. So individuals who are already hypertensive, they can decrease their risk for cardiovascular diseases by using a diet high in the arginine and high in the hemp seeds for these inhibitory effects on ACE and renin. And another positive thing about hemp seeds is studies have also shown that they inhibit the aggregation or the clustering of platelets. And platelets are our body's natural blood clotters. So if we prevent them from aggregating inappropriately, we can prevent strokes and heart attacks. So those are some of the immense cardiovascular benefits of hemp seeds.
So you can start eating hemp seeds and oil at any age, but it seems like the older you get, the more important it is to consume these little guys.
Absolutely. And we'll get into some more even better reasons why older people such as myself should be ingesting these. Here's another great
I'm
benefit.
getting there. I'm past 30, Denise. I'm coming for you.
All right. Here's another effect that's related to the cardiovascular system is that hemp seeds and hemp seed oil prevent the conversion of fats into the bad cholesterol, those low density lipoproteins. So it's an anti-cholesterol. Another thing that it does is that that balanced amino acid profile. I mentioned that, that graph that showed it comparing it to soy and the other ones. It has a better composition of amino acids, and therefore it contributes to a better muscle metabolism and maintenance of protein homeostasis. So we have to have that balance of those amino acids all the time in our body. And when we become deficient, especially in the essential amino acids, because we don't capture them in our diet, our body tissues start to suffer. And our protein source, once our fat stores have been used up, the next source is our protein stores. And what are those? Those are our muscles. You might have seen in some severe cases of, say, starvation, where individuals' muscles have kind of just diminished. They have almost evaporated because they have been used as protein. They have been used for energy. And so we need to have this constant source of amino acids, and that's why hemp seeds have a great protein profile, and they provide all of these benefits into the amino acid pool. They help with the balance of the ongoing need to replace the body's proteins. They boost the immune system. They repair tissues and maintain the tissues. And they also build other components in the body, such as the blood, bones, hormones, and they also help with the balance of our body's fluids. Proteins are very large compounds, and we have to have a certain what we call osmotic pressure to maintain our fluid balance. And the proteins in our blood, the watery portion of our blood, the plasma, it helps to maintain that balance so that our body's always able to respond to fluid shifts. So very important for this ongoing protein maintenance.
So there's that legend that Buddha ate, a handful of hemp seeds or even one hemp seed. I don't know which one it was, but that's all he ate every day. And it sounds like, this is evidence to say, this is how he essentially survived. He got all his amino acids and, which seems like was a force field to prevent the degeneration of muscle.
Absolutely. He was very much aware of the value that this little seed had packed in it. It's almost like the nirvana of seeds.
Wow. And it's amazing. For so long we couldn't eat them. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. A couple more things. Here's another great reason that hemp seeds and hemp seed oil is fabulous, because as our body uses the hemp seed and the hemp seed oil, it decreases our need for insulin, and it improves our body's insulin sensitivity, which is especially important when you're talking about either metabolic syndrome or diabetes. So it also will help suppress our appetite. And as you mentioned earlier, Joe, it helps with our fiber for digestion. So as we suppress our appetite, we lower our craving for that sugar. We do know that the sugar is kind of a driver for, number one, inflammation on our organs and tissues. And as we decrease our body's craving for sugar, we therefore will begin to lose weight. And then we also will be more full because of the fiber for digestion. And this is probably coming more from our non-hulled hemp seeds, our whole hemp seeds, because as you eat these hemp seeds, the fiber then creates that feeling of satiety, the feeling of fullness. And then the fiber is going to be very useful also to help us with digestion. It prevents the problems related to constipation. So the little superfood can do it all. It can do it all.
And especially, I mean, to bring it back to this pandemic respiratory disease, I mean, they say the highest risk group is people with diabetes. And, not only the benefits of the zinc from the hemp seeds, but it sounds like there's even more benefits for people with diabetes. That, we really should be promoting this as a nutrients for people in that. And my mom had diabetes, so I know she has hemp seeds, but I can't wait to share this with her.
Absolutely, and not only the individuals at risk are related to diabetes, but most of those individuals, the majority of those individuals, may or may not be obese as well, and that's the other high at risk group are those that have a very high level of body mass index. So if you're using hemp seed and you're using the hemp seed oil, you're already improving your fat ratio, your polyunsaturated fat ratio. You've now added another source of protein, which is a great place for your body to help with rebuilding damaged tissue. And now we've just talked about how it's a great way for your digestion and for your glucose suppression or your glucose regulation and appetite suppression. So there's so many benefits to using these little tiny
I swear this is not an infomercial. It's all real.
And this is all backed by science. Absolutely. All right, we're going to finish this up by talking about these immense other health benefits from this tiny little seed. So an antioxidant means that it inhibits cancer cells and it inhibits tumor growth. So already we're seeing how there's ongoing studies. You mentioned studies earlier. There's ongoing studies right now as to how these hemp seeds can help prevent cancer from spreading and from growing. When you use it either as an ingestion, when you eat it, or if you use it on your skin, it does penetrate the skin layers. So now we're talking benefits to the skin, hair, and nails. It will promote new skin growth. And it is being used to treat the inflammatory skin disorders such as eczema, psoriasis, and acne. And this is another area that there is being intense research because it has immense promise as a topical treatment for aging skin. As we age, our skin loses that elasticity. And so now they're looking for it as a great product to add to skin regimens. So, who knows, Mary Kay or, Almay or, L'Oreal, right? These cosmetic companies, I would imagine, are already starting to look at hemp seed oil as an additive to their skin products, to their skin formulations because of the immense benefits of what it does. And then finally, if you haven't guessed by now, as you've seen throughout almost every slide, hemp seed, it balances the body's metabolism in relation to those immune and inflammatory responses. So now we're looking at treating other things that are related to inflammation in the body, such as rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. So there's that little powerful seed, that little superfood, and you can see that every single piece of it can be used either in a nutritional product, in a body product, in a cosmetic, in milk. We're going to have hemp seed milk. We're going to have hemp milk. You can use it in your breads and your cereals. We've already got hemp seed protein powder as another great source of vegan protein. And then finally, I know of some companies that are also looking into taking all of this and using the hemp seed as an animal food product, because if it's doing all these wonderful things for us and humans, it can do the same exact thing for animals as well, because remember, all mammals can benefit from the use of hemp seed because of their endocannabinoid system. So it's just an incredible time to be on the cutting edge of knowing and understanding and the research of what this is going to do for us.
Yeah, and being in the food world, we can't wait to have hemp-fed meat, meatballs for our hemp pasta product. And I know there's a lot of vegans out there that, hemp is a great resource for them. But, when I mentioned that, hemp seed could be an excellent feedstock for animals, don't we all want to see animals have a happier, healthier life than they're currently having? And I'm all about sourcing our product from local farmers and things of that nature. So, the highest quality meat from the animal that lived the best quality life, that's what we're all about.
Yeah. And the other thing to think about is as you are ingesting products from an animal, whether it be the meat or whether it be the milk, if those animals have been fed with hemp as their food supplies, their food source, now you're getting a passive benefit because the hemp is going to be passed to you, and you're going to be enjoying the benefits of their ingestion of hemp because that's going to be translated to you through their tissues. Which is why we've been endocannabinoid deficient. We've been deficient in our endocannabinoid system ever since hemp and cannabis were outlawed in the 1930s. And they threw the baby out with the bathwater. And now that we are seeing it being reintroduced in so many different ways, I would imagine that we will hopefully have a reversal of our health problems as more people wake up to the fact that hemp seed oil, hemp seeds, and the cannabis plant itself, through either the use of CBD or the other cannabinoids, will have immense health benefits to them.
It's really remarkable. And you almost have to thank China for having hemp come back. And I say that almost cynically because China took away the entire tobacco market. They grow most of the tobacco in China, and our farmers were left hanging dry. What's going to replace this? And hemp,
right. Absolutely.
kind of rolled in there and filled in the spot, and it's amazing that in the most dire need, not only for the farmer, a new cash crop has come to fruition.
Yes, it has. And like you said, it's kind of by happenstance. It wasn't designed. It wasn't planned. And as our technology is catching up with what we can find in the plant, and then we test that in the practical world and see where these applications lie in research, we're going to find so many other things that this plant can do. And so we're, like I said before, the toothpaste is out of the tube. We're not going back. And we know all of these things already about hemp and hemp seed oils and hemp seeds. We need to put it to good use. We need to help our populations reach a healthy level of wellness again. And we need to really start rethinking about our diets and how we eat and what we do and what we ingest, because we are what we eat.